Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel, welcome to Genuine Me. Today we're going to be talking about an interesting topic. I've received quite a number of questions from you guys asking about the Qatar Airways English test. So I thought, you know what, let me just share my experience about the English test with you guys. So let's get right into it. Why do they need to do an English test? Let's first think about it. You know, one of their requirements is even that you have to be fluent in English. You have to have good communication skills. So it's like the English part of this job is very important in vocal communication as well as in written English. You're basically going to be doing a lot of communication throughout your work, day in, day out, every day. The number one thing that you're doing is you're communicating. Even, you know, the written English is important because you're going to be writing reports and you're going to need to even study for your exams during training. You're going to be reading new reports, like as in when they're updating things and they're sending you emails and things like that. So you need to be able to read, you need to be able to write good grammar to communicate well. This is very important. That is why they are testing your English. And at this point, they've already tested your English. When you were handing your CV, they asked you a question and they saw that, okay, you can communicate. Now, can you actually write proper English? So let's get right into it. This test takes about 30 minutes to be precise, and it is divided into 3 sections. Well, as far as I remember from my experience, it was divided in 3 sections and it's written on paper. I know depending on which airline you're being interviewed on, some of these tests can be done online, but with Qatar Airways, as far as I know, they do it on paper. The first section of the test is the reading comprehension. So basically what's going to happen is you will find a paragraph and you must read this paragraph, and then there'll be questions that follow that's asking you about what you just read. It's not even a long paragraph, it's just medium, you know, it's decent, it makes sense. So you're gonna read this paragraph. It can be about an event that has actually taken place. It's more like an article that actually is real and it's based on facts and all of those things. It can be about the airline, like they can be talking about their planes and things like that, the history, and you're gonna just read this paragraph, and after that you're gonna be answering those questions. Most of those questions will be just like straight and forward, factual. You know, when was this and this? You know, you go back to the paragraph and you can check when that was, and then you choose the right year. And then some of the questions actually wants to see if you understood the paragraph. Like, it's not gonna just be straight and forward, like, you know, 1 + 1. It's gonna be like checking if you actually have the ability to understand context. So you will get some of those questions. I would say basically that's it for the first section. Then you're gonna get into the second section of the English test, which is dialogue between 2 people, the customer, and basically you as the flight attendant and the customer. It's gonna be sentences that are like, this and this happened, dash. You're supposed to find the proper word to put there. There'll be like multiple question answers under that sentence. Like, you have to choose the proper words to be put in that sentence. Let me get you an example. Shall I help you lift that, dash, the locker? A, in, B, into, C, up, D, onto, right? So you must choose which word fits in that sentence in the best way. Shall I help you lift that in the locker, into the locker, up the locker, onto the locker? Those can be possible options for your answer. So the second section of this interview test is basically that. Sentences that are testing your English. If you know what is the best answer to put in those dashes on the sentences, just to check if you know to, you know, relay English properly. Then the last section of your English test is based on grammar basically. It is testing, like if you know like tenses, past tense, present tense, what. It will also have multiple choice answers, but it's just basically grammar, and it will be maybe something like, did I eat? Did I ate? Did I, like things like that. Here is another example. Claire isn't in the office at the moment. She is dash holiday. Is it on holiday, off holiday, in holiday, off holiday? It's like off with O and F and off with double F, sort of. Second example can be, she looks dash than she actually is. Is it more young? Is it very younger? Is it much younger? Is it more younger? So basically, these are just 2 examples that kind of show you the possible grammar questions you might be getting. Like I said, you might be wondering, okay, what's the difference? It's multiple choice, and then the section 2 is also multiple choice. Yes, section 2 is basically based on dialogue, like you as a flight attendant helping a customer. So it's asking you basically grammar, but not really entirely grammar. It's more like how you relay information like to a customer, or like it can even ask you, what do you think is the right thing to do in a situation, and give you those options. It's not basically just strictly grammar, it's just everything. It can be anything, any type of dialogue that you might have with a customer, just to clear that out. And then section 3, that's like basically grammar, and they just want to see if you can pick the right grammar answer. Like it's just basically totally just testing your English. So that is it for the English test. I would say, don't get too worked out on like what are the questions that are gonna come out in the English test. That is not even important. They're just testing what is already in you, what you already have, what level of English you already have. It's basically like there's nothing much you can actually do about it. You're gonna read the paragraph and you're gonna answer from your understanding. You can't do that beforehand. There's no like paper that we can give you and it might be the exact paper that you're gonna be writing. No. They just want to know your level of understanding in English. But there are ways which you can prepare for this, which is like just find grammar sites. There are websites which you can just go to write comprehension tests, to write grammar tests, like to do self-testing. And you can actually even time yourself, because the interview question, this English test, takes 30 minutes. So you can kind of like put yourself in those conditions and test yourself beforehand, see how you might perform, because it's basically just English. There's nothing like about it that is like, it's not like when we used to write science at school and they're asking you what is biology and what is what. No, they're just testing you how you understand English. So that is the English test. Okay, now let's get into the tips. Like, what can I kind of say you can do to just get a better chance at this, especially if you don't feel confident about your English? Number 1, like I said, you can find websites where you can self-test yourself on grammar. Just search on Google or whatever search engine you have, like free online grammar test or free online comprehension test, things like that. Basically what you want to practice this, such that you get a lot of options and you can time yourself and see how you do. I feel like it kind of helps, even if you're confident, it kind of helps for you to put yourself under that pressure. It's just like with a muscle. When you exercise, the next day is not painful, the next week you see some improvement. So just test yourself. Number 2, I would say, actually my number 2 should have been my number 1. First of all, when you get your paper, read the instructions properly. Try to really focus and just like don't be, you are maybe afraid, that rush that you're about to write an English test. You don't even know how you're gonna do. Just be calm. Take it that they're just asking me, who am I? Like, and I know me because like they're testing your English, which is your English. I mean, be calm, read your first page properly, like what you must fill in. Lucky enough, they will tell you what you must write on your paper. I remember they did tell us, like, write your number, write this, but I did still make a mistake and I needed to cancel. So I raised my hand and asked if it's okay for me to cancel. Can I write the correct information here, what? And they said it's okay. So it's kind of a thing. I heard that if you need to cancel or anything like that, indicate it, raise your hand, ask them about it, because like when they're marking, there shouldn't be any confusion. You might just be a point away from making it through the English test. But try as much as you can not to make mistakes. You know, this is Qatar Airways and there's many of you. It makes it much easier for them if people make mistakes and they have to just choose a few number of people. If you have a lot of mistakes, you can be an easy option to cross out. So try as much as you can to just be neat, be clean, do everything properly, follow the instructions, you know. Just be outstanding, you know, that one person that didn't even make an error. Like, it shows that you're focused. It says something about you. When I saw that I made that mistake, I felt like, oh my God, what does it say about me? Because I already made a mistake before even writing the test. So I feel like it depends what type of recruiter you're having that day. So just try your best to just do things properly, please. And if you do make a mistake, don't be like me. I asked if I can cancel. Just tell them you made a mistake. What can you do? Can you get a new sheet or this or this? They will tell you their options. Like, don't insist the option that is in your head. I will say follow your instinct, and because some questions are very testing and it's multiple choice questions, and you know sometimes the answers are so close to each other and you feel like it could be this or it could be this. What you can do is strike out. What you can do is strike out the ones that you're definitely sure this is not the answer, and be left out with those, maybe the two that are conflicting choices, you know, and then follow your instinct. Even though it might be wrong, it's better than to just do guesswork and then you just guessed something that is really wrong. At least if you got it wrong on something that you were convinced is right, it's better. There's nothing much to regret there. But yeah, guys, this is it about the English test. I would say if you're that person and you're trying to figure out, you know, the exact paper for the interview, you should stop doing that. Stop it. Just work on your grammar, work on your English, do self-testing. You got this. If you know English, you know English. And if you know your weak areas, you can work on them. Just go give it your best. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, if it was helpful in any way, please do leave a like. Do comment your questions, comment your suggestions. I'm sure your suggestion can help others as well, even me, just to know what maybe I missed out from my experience that I didn't mention. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video. Love you guys. I really appreciate the love you're giving me, and yeah, remember to stay genuine.